I'm Suzanne McNeill with Design Originals. I've been having so much fun. I actually taught classes at International Quilt Market, and 35 people, we all left with a wonderful project. So let me show you what I'm going to talk about today. Here's a quilt that's done with a Zentangle inspired technique. These are all continuous line quilting patterns. So let me show you what we did in the class. In the class, all 35 people got a little bag, and we all tangled on one. Well, that's not my hand, because see how I'm like a little club hand. But here's another little bag, just some samples of what we did in class. So today I want to show you just how simple that is to do. You know, if I'm working on smooth fabric, I like to use the micron pins, and thicker ones I can color in with black. If I'm working on a heavier weight fabric, I really like the Pentel gel roller for fabric. So I have my bag, and I'm going to treat this just like normal Zentangle. So I put a little dot in each corner of my pattern, and then I draw my frame. Now I'm just using a pencil, just very lightly to sketch this. And then I divide that into sections. And so that way I can start working on my pattern. Now when I taught the class at Quilt Market, we had to pretend that we were sewing machines. And so everyone hummed along a little bit. But when I say we had to pretend we were sewing machines, we did our patterns as if they were continuous lines. We could not, that means we could not pick up our pins. Everything had to stay right on the fabric. And the reason is because this is exactly the same way you would stitch if you were stitching on a sewing machine. So whether you're drawing, now this is on fabric for quilting, you want to use these continuous line patterns, and then whether you do it with a pen or whether you do it on your sewing machine, they come out perfect every time. And sometimes you have to do what's called a sort of back stitch, go over exactly the same line to get to where you want to go. This is reminiscent of a common quilting stitch, the feather. So now that I'm at the finished, well, I can cheat, take a little break, pick up my pen, but I have to put it right back down because this is something I want to continue working with. So now if I'm going to do a grid type pattern, again, I want to use my continuous lines because that's what quilting is about. Because with my sewing machine, I would want to have as few knots as possible. So now I'm going to go back the other way, and now I have to go back over that line, and that's okay because I can do that without having it show. And now I'm just have to work around, so I have to think a little bit ahead. I think you get the picture. So here I might have to backtrack, but everything I have done is a continuous line. And then if I were going to come in here and fill those, I would need to think about the way I was doing that. And now I'm going to skip down here and start filling this one in. And fill this one in. So I would continue working like this. Just thinking a little bit ahead to keep my continuous line stitches. So I want to start on another pattern so that I can show you that another is continuous line. With the regular Zentangle stitches, they're not all continuous lines. So when you go to quilting, you do need to come back and think about continuous line. So now I can just backtrack a little bit and fill all of those spaces. And now I want to start another pattern in this section here. So now I'm just going to start filling this in. Again, following the pattern with a continuous line pattern, because what I'm doing is practicing to begin quilting on Zentangle technique on my sewing machine. So now I'm going to work right over to here and another continuous line pattern. Go back here. And drop down. Repeat the triangles. Repeat the double line triangle. Over and do that again. And now I'm ready to go to my fourth section. And you know, I just love Rick's Paradox pattern. This time I'm doing it in a triangle shape. So here I'm going to start. First I outline my triangle, and now I'm going to start in the corner and move out just a little bit. Start in the corner, move out just a little bit. Out, move out, move out, move out. So some people, when they're learning this, find it easier to turn the fabric rather than just to turn their pen. But once you catch on to the pattern, it's easier to leave your fabric in place. So now I've finished my pattern. If I did want some areas to be colored in black, I would just come back with my pen. Even if I had stitched this design, these solid black areas, I normally use either my micron or this gel roller to color those areas in black. And that gives the design a lot of punch when I'm doing that. Just adds that special little touch. So let me show you one over here that's finished. Here's a larger bag that I did, and I also went, so here's my basic shape or frame. And here's Rick's Paradox, but more of them. I added these continuous line patterns around the edge. Here are different continuous line patterns. Here's the triangle I used on the piece I just showed you. And over here I started a new pattern with a bird. Over here's a flower, and up here is a pretty decorative pattern. So whether I draw this by hand or whether I stitch it on the machine, it's exactly the same process as far as the continuous lines go. So let me show you the books. You know, books are always a wonderful reference. There are the normal Zentangle books that have a lot of patterns, but let me show you the difference. This is Pat Ferguson's book, Zen Quilting Workbook. So this is exactly how Pat teaches her classes, everything you want to know. And you can see in these pages, these are all continuous line patterns. So lots of fodder and lots of fun things to practice on. Pat goes through coloring your tangles, stitching with threads, fillers, everything you need to know about Zentangle. So thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoy your bag too.